Come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
Hello everyone and welcome again. Happy Sunday to everyone. I hope you're doing fine and well. There we have this fantastic article I want to share with you today. It's by or from JNITX at JNITX. Also the name JNIT, it's over there. So, let's read about the neuroscience of visualization. Very important. Always the music's too loud. Let's put it down. How it works, but not how you think. Let's go. I tried visualization for a while and it didn't do anything. This was maybe a year ago. I would read all the stuff about how successful people visualize their goals. Imagine the outcome, see yourself winning, feel the emotions of success before it happens. So I would sit there, eyes closed, trying to picture my business taking off, clients flooding in, money in the account, the whole thing. Felt nice. Kind of like a daydreaming, but nothing changed. I actually think it made things worse. Why? I would spend 20 minutes imagining success and then feel less motivated to do the actual work. Like I would already gotten the reward somehow. Like telling someone else what you wanna do or what you're gonna do and then never doing it because you felt the satisfaction while telling the person. Turns out there's a reason for that, and it has nothing to do with me doing it wrong or not believing hard enough. The way most people teach visualizations is backwards. The self-help version, the manifestation stuff, the vision boards. Most of it doesn't work. Some of it actively hurts you. But there's another version, the version elite athletes use, the version surgeons use before complex operations, the version the military uses to train for high-stakes situations. That version works, and the neuroscience explains exactly why. What's actually happening in your brain? So, here's the thing that changed how I think about this. Your brain can't fully distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Yeah, almost the same neurological paths or networks get activated. 80%, 90%, I'm not sure. I don't mean in some woo-woo metaphysical sense, I mean neurologically, the same neural pathways that fire when you do something also fire when you imagine doing it with enough detail. That's the point, with enough detail. You know, visualization is not only with the visuals, it's also temperature, sounds, flavors, the five senses. This has been studied extensively. Álvaro Pascual Leone, a neuroscientist at Harvard, did this famous experiment with piano players. Well, let's see. When the scientists compared the TMS data on the two groups, those who actually tickled to ivories and those who only imagined doing so, they glimpsed a revolutionary idea about the brain, the ability of mere thought to alter the physical structure and function of our gray matter. For what the TMS, well, I don't know what TMS is, so it's a little bit incomplete. Let's read the second part here. Mental practice resulted in a similar reorganization of the brain. Pascual Leone later wrote, if his results hold for other forms of movement, and there is no reason to think they don't, then mentally practicing a golf swing, or a forward pass, or a swinging turn could lead to a mastery with less physical practice, even more profound. The discovery showed that mental training had the power to change the physical structure of the brain. Exactly. If you imagine a person that's hemiplegic, okay? He can't move the half part of the face, and the hand is it's like this, right? Tense, contract. And if he I have a patient that did this. He started to visualize and remember when he used to go to march in a military training facility or something. So when he started to imagine he was walking like he used to, the hand started to relax and he started to have sensibility where he previously didn't, because while imagining he was walking, the blood started to circulate in these parts of the hand that didn't before. So I hope that makes sense with my horrible English. So better if I continue reading. He took people who had never played piano and split them into groups. One group physically practiced a simple 5-finger exercise for 5 days. Another group just imagined practicing the same exercise, same amount of time, without touching a piano. When he mapped their brains afterward, both groups showed nearly identical changes in the motor cortex. Yes, if I'm a runner, a marathonist runner, suffer a lesion, an incident, and he has to stop training and go outside and run 10 kilometers per day, I don't know, he will start to feel depressed or anxious or something like that, because the withdrawal of the chemicals are produced when he runs. So if you are in this position, you better start to visualize yourself running while you are recovering for your leisure. No, it's not leisure, for your accident. So you don't get depressed or anxious with the withdrawal symptoms. I hope that makes sense. People who never touched a piano physically change their brains by imagining playing it. That's not mystical, that's just how the brain works. Why this matters? The implications are kind of wild when you think about it. Your brain is basically a prediction machine. It builds models of reality and runs simulations constantly until 11 dimensions, if I'm not mistaken. When you vividly imagine something, you're running a simulation, and that simulation creates real neural changes. This is why visualization can actually work. Not because the universe is listening to your thoughts, because your brain is literally practicing. Dr. Wang Yue, an exercise psychologist at the Cleveland Clinic Foundation, did another study that blew my mind when I read about it. He had people imagine flexing their biceps as hard as they could. Just imagine it. Not actual movement. They did this for 15 minutes and a day, They did this for 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for 12 weeks. At the end, the mental-only group had increased their bicep strength by 13%, 13.5% to be precise. Not as much as the group that actually lifted weights. What? But they got stronger just by thinking about it. The brain sent signals to the muscles even though no movement occurred. Those signals created real psychological changes. The problem with outcome visualization. Okay, so if visualization creates real neural changes, why didn't my Imagine Success sessions work? This is where it gets interesting. Gabriela Oettingen is a psychologist at NYU who spent her career studying motivation and goal pursuit. And her research basically destroyed the positive visualization narrative. Yes. She found that people who vividly imagine positive outcomes, like achieving their goals or getting what they want, actually show decreased motivation and worse performance afterward. Wow. In one study, she had people who wanted to lose weight visualize themselves thin and healthy. The ones who spent more time in positive fantasy lost fewer pounds over the following year. In another study, students who visualized getting good grades studied less and got worse grades. She put it this way: positive fantasies allow people to mentally enjoy the desired future in the here and now. The trouble is that this depletes energy rather than mobilize it. That's exactly what happened to me. I was mentally enjoying the success without doing anything to create it. My brain was getting the reward signal without the work. Yes. The self-help industry has this completely backwards. See yourself winning sounds good, but it's actually counterproductive. So, I don't have to visualize myself already healed or healthy if I'm fighting against a disease. I have to visualize my body fighting the disease and winning, fighting in detail, and then maybe winning. But fighting my body, fighting the disease, visualizing my body fighting the disease is much more important. It's positive, it helps. But if I imagine myself already healthy without the fight part, I think it's worse or something like that. It's my understanding. I'm trying to understand this. What actually works? Okay, that's the answer to my question. So, if visualizing outcomes hurts you, what helps? Process visualization. Not imagine the trophy, imagine the training. Not imagine the success, imagine the work that leads to success. This is what elite performers actually do, and it's completely different from what most people think of as visualization. When researchers study Olympic athletes, they find that the best visualizers don't spend much time on outcomes. They spend time on process, the specific movements, the exact sequence, the feeling in their muscles, the environment they will be in. It's like the chess players that can play against 20 persons, 20 people, and he's actively imagining at least 2 or 3 games at the time, I believe. A sprinter doesn't visualize standing on the podium. They visualize the feel of the blocks under their feet, the sound of the gun, the first 3 steps, the drive phase, the lean at the finish. That kind of visualization is basically free practice. You're running the neural circuits you'll need when it's real. I heard that there's even the possibility of dreaming you training. So it's I heard exist trainers, psychologists that helps the sport people to learn how to train while they dream. I can't imagine how to do that, but it seems possible. I don't know. I'm gonna find out later. The Michael Phelps story. This is probably the most famous example of visualization done right. Michael Phelps is the most decorated Olympian of all time. 28 medals, 23 of them gold. His coach, Bob Bowman, had him doing visualization from age 14. Wow! But not the kind most people imagine. Bowman had Phelps mentally rehearse every race in complete detail, not just winning, everything. The dive, each stroke, the turns, the finish. He called it watching the videotape. Phelps would lie in bed at night and play the perfect race in his head, then play it again, then again. But here's the part that matters. Bowman also had him visualize things going wrong. Wow. What if your goggles leak? Visualize it. What if someone else gets a faster start? Visualize it. What if your suit rips? Visualize it. Phelps rehearsed disaster scenarios so many times that nothing could surprise him. He would already experience every possible problem in his mind. That's one function of nightmares, of course. If you have a nightmare of a fear situation, if it happens in real life, you already had it in your dreams or in your nightmares, so it's not gonna be so shocking for you in real life when it happens. Then, at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, it happened for real. During the 200-meter butterfly final, Phelps dove in and his goggles started filling with water. By the third turn, he couldn't see anything, completely blind. Most swimmers would panic. This is the Olympic final, everything you have worked for. Phelps didn't panic. He would already swum this race blind in his mind hundreds of times. He knew exactly how many strokes he needed to reach the wall. Wow! He would counted them in his visualization. He won gold, set a world record. Wow! Afterward, he said it was basically the same as practice, not because it was easy, because he would already lived it. This visualization done right. Imagine the process. That's visualization done right, sorry. Imagine the process, including the worst case scenarios. The military application. The military figured this out too, of course. Navy SEALs use what they call mental rehearsal before operations. Yes, I saw a video of a F-16 pilot before going up. He was training with his hands and like dancing in the floor. So Navy SEAL use what they call mental rehearsal before operations. They don't just plan on paper. They mentally walk through the mission, every step, every transition, every potential problem. They visualize the door breach, the room clearing, the contingencies of things go sideways. A former SEAL named Mark Divine talks about this. He says, "We would spend hours running through scenarios in our minds. When you've mentally rehearsed something 100 times, you've essentially already done it. The real thing becomes confirmation, not discovery." Wow, that sounds cool. That's the key inside. You want the real moment to feel like confirmation of something you've already experienced, not a discovery of something new. The stress response is different when you've been there before, even if there was only in your mind. The surgery research. Surgeons do this too, and there's good research on it. One study looked at surgeons learning a new laparoscopic procedure, half practice only physically, half added mental rehearsal. The mental rehearsal group performed significantly better, fewer errors, faster completion times, smoother movements. The lead researcher put it this way: mental practice allows the surgeon to pre-experience the procedure. When they perform it for real, they've already navigated the difficult parts in their mind. Same principle as Phelps. Same principle as the SEALs. You're not hoping for success, you're pre-experiencing the process so thoroughly that the real thing is just execution. Or another execution, I would add. Why process beat outcomes? Or outcome? Let me try to explain why this distinction matters so much. When you visualize outcomes, you imagine a state, a static picture, you with the thing you want. When you visualize process, you imagine actions, dynamic, sequential, specific. Your brain handles this differently. Outcome visualization activates reward centers. You get a little dopamine hit. It feels good, but it doesn't prepare you for anything. It's just a pleasant fantasy. Process visualization activates motor planning regions, the same areas that would be involved in actually doing the thing you're essentially practicing. One gives you premature satisfaction, the other gives you preparation. Wottingen developed a technique called WHOOP. Based on her research, it stands for wish, outcome, obstacle, plan. You identify what you want, you imagine the best outcome briefly, then you identify the main obstacle, then you visualize yourself overcoming the obstacle. Cool. Whoop. The key is the obstacle. By visualizing what's in the way and how you will handle it, you're doing process visualization, you're preparing for reality, not escaping into fantasy. Her studies show WHOOP significantly outperforms traditional positive visualization. How to actually do this? Let me try to make this practical because I know I've been pretty heavy on research. Here's roughly what I do now, which is very different from what I used to do. First, I get specific. Not imagine your business succeeding. That's too vague. Instead, imagine writing tomorrow's content. The specific task, the specific challenge, how it will feel when you hit resistance, what you'll do when you want to quit. Second, I include difficulty. If I'm visualizing something going perfectly, I'm probably doing it wrong. I try to imagine the hard parts, the moments where I want to give up, the obstacles that will arise. Third, I engage senses. The research shows that more vivid, multisensory visualization creates stronger neural activation, so I try to include what I'll see, hear, feel physically. Smell, not just a mental picture but a mental experience, temperature. Fourth, I keep it short. This doesn't need to be a 20-minute meditation. A few minutes of focused, specific visualization is plenty. Sometimes I do it right before a task. Just quickly run through it mentally, then start. Fifth, I focus on actions, not outcomes. What will I do, not what will I get. The anxiety application. There's another way this is useful that I didn't expect. A lot of anxiety comes from uncertainty or lack of control. You're worried about something because you don't know how it will go. Your brain is running simulations, but they are chaotic and scary. Deliberate visualization can calm this down. Before a hard conversation, I will visualize it specifically. What will I say? What might they say? How will I respond? What's the worst that could happen? How would I handle that? By the time a real conversation happens, I've already had 12 times in my mind. The anxiety drops because the uncertainty is gone. Tim Ferriss calls this fear setting rather than goal setting. He systematically imagines the worst-case scenario in detail. What would go wrong? How would he recover? What would it actually look like? He said, I can trace all of my biggest wins and biggest disasters averted back to doing fear setting at least once a quarter. I don't get that phrase, sorry. That's the same principle. You're not avoiding negative thoughts. You're deliberately engaging with them so thoroughly that they lose their power. What I got wrong, looking back, I know exactly why my early visualization practice didn't work. I was doing everything the research says not to do. I was vague, success instead of specific outcomes. I was outcome focused, imagine having things instead of doing things. I was avoiding difficulty, only imagine the good parts. I was passive, sitting there hoping instead of actively rehearsing. Basically, I was daydreaming and calling it visualization. The real practice is more active, more specific, more focused on process, more willing to engage with difficulty. It's not as pleasant. You don't get the nice dopamine hit from imagining success. Instead, you're doing mental work. It's tiring in a way that daydreaming isn't, but it actually changes things. The constraint. I should mention one thing the research is clear about. Mental practice works best as a supplement to physical practice, not a replacement. Pascual Leone's piano study showed this. The mental-only group improved, but the physical practice group improved more. The best results came from combining both. Same with the strength studies. Mental training alone increased strength 13%. Physical training increased it more. Both together was the best. So, this isn't a shortcut to skip the work. It's a way to get more out of the work you're doing. The elite athletes who visualize the most are also the ones who train the most. Oh, they're not visualizing instead of practicing. They are visualizing in addition to practicing. Okay. For me, this means visualization is part of the preparation, not a replacement for it. I still have to do the thing. I still have to do the thing. I'm just giving myself extra mental reps alongside the real reps. The deeper thing. I've been thinking about why this works at a deeper level. Your brain doesn't really care about the difference between real and imagined experience. It's building models either way, running simulations either way. When you vividly imagine something, you're feeding data into the model. You're telling your brain this is the thing that happens, and it adjusts accordingly. This means you can, to some extent, choose what experiences to feed your brain. You can give it experiences that prepare you for what you want to do. Phelps gave his brain the experience of swimming blind before he ever swam blind for real. When it happened, his brain had a model for it. It knew what to do. That's kind of powerful when you think about it. You're not just hoping for better performance, you're literally building the neural architecture that enables better performance. Wow, 1 million visualizations. I like it. Here's my like. Thank you very much to you all and to the author, of course. I hope you learned something or enjoy it while you are enjoying your Sunday, sunny Sunday here. So, I wish you a great weekend, end of the weekend, start of the week. See you the next one. Goodbye.